Hi everybody, this is Dr. Ishwari. In today's session we are going to discuss about relevance of dividends. So relevant theories will be proposed by the Gordons and Walters. Today's session we are going to discuss about the Walters model. So what is proposed? Dividend policy should not be impacting on the value of the firm. So before going to introducing these methods, he has to assume some assumptions. These assumptions are there is no external source of finance, means they are not going to issue the equity capital or dividend capital or any preference share capital. So the source of capital is always the internal source of capital. So after getting the earnings, these earnings will be reinvested in the company. So internal source of financing only they are using. And R and K always constant. R means the risk and the cost always will be constant. And earning per share and dividend per share will be impacting on the result of the company. And the company is having the perpetual life period. Means it will be continue, it should not have any end. So these are the assumptions they are following. So before going to the Walters model, we need to discuss the formula. The formula is P equal to, means the price value. So market value of the share equal to D plus D means the dividend plus R. R is the required rate of return, and KE, cost of equity, into E minus D. E is the earning per share minus dividend. Simply we can understand, we can keep in our mind. First, if you had invest in any company, you should expect the dividend. Dividend plus what it will be impacting on that? The required rate of return. You should be expecting the return on that. The required rate of return and the cost of equity. So some cost will be incurred on that. The cost of equity into earning per share minus dividend, the whole divided the cost of equity. So this is the formula. Based on the formula we are going to discuss the problem. Okay. So coming to the problem, the following information is available in respect of a firm. Capitalization rate means KE. KE equal to 0.10. Earning per share equal to 10 rupees. Assumed rate of return in three situations: when it is declared 15 rupees, 8 rupees and 10 rupees. That rupees 15%, 8% and 10%. So this is the required rate of return. Show the effect of dividend policy on market price of shares. In these three situations, we are going to calculate. Okay, so here the firms is going to divide into three types. That is based on the required rate of return to cost of capital. Okay, R is greater than equal to KE. Required rate of return is greater than cost of equity. That is called as the growth firm. Means here they are having the ample of opportunities to reinvest in that company. Means they are having the investment opportunities. If they are having the growth position, then they can reinvest the profit into the company. So these type of the firms are called as the growth firms. So then there will be in that R is greater than K. When R is less than K, that is the declining firm. So what is a declining firm? If they are not having the ample of opportunities to reinvest in that company, means they are not having that investment opportunities. So if they are not having that type of the facilities to reinvest, then they can go for declaring the dividends to the shareholders. So here they are going to declare the dividends to the shareholders because they are not having that type of the opportunities to reinvest. So that these type of the firms are called as a declining firm. You can denote it as R less than K. So these type of the firms are the normal firms. Always the required rate of return is always equal to the cost of capital. So these type of the firms are called as the normal firms. There is no change here. They are declaring or not declaring or whatever it may be, it should not be impacting on the value of the firm. So these are all the three forms we are going to be calculated. Let's come to the solution. Dividend per share equal to 0. When they are not issuing any dividends here, what it will be impacting when it is in the growth form, when it is in the declining form, when it is in the normal form. So first we are taking the growth form. 0 means that reinvesting the amount into the company. What is his first assumption? There is no external source of finance. The total amount will be reinvested in the company, or they can declare the total dividends to the shareholders. They are not going to issue any equity capital or debenture or preference share capital or whatever it is. There is no external source of financing. So this is the 0. 0 plus 0.15. What is the 0.15? Our required rate of return is 0.15. Here we are assuming the rate of return 15 is the first position. 15 divided by 0.10. KE value 0.10 and earning per share 10 rupees. And D value, there is no dividend we are declaring here. The value will be 150 rupees. And coming to the, if they are issuing 25% of dividend per ratio or 2 rupees 50 paise or whatever it may be. 2 rupees 50 paise plus the required rate of return 15%, 0.15 divided by KE value 0.10 into earning per share 10 rupees. How much of the dividend we are declaring here? 2 rupees 50 paise. The value will be 137 rupees 50 paise. And coming to the third situation, if they are declaring 50% of the dividends or 5 rupees of the dividends or whatever it may be, the value will be dividend plus 5 rupees plus the required rate of return 50 and cost of capital 0.10, earning per share 10 rupees minus 5 rupees dividend value. The total value will be 125 rupees. And coming to the next position, if they are declaring the dividend 75% or 7 rupees 50 paise, the value will be, here we are declaring 7 rupees 50 paise plus the required rate of return 0.15 and the cost of capital 0.10 into earning per share 10 rupees minus 7 rupees 50 paise, that equal to 112 rupees 50 paise. And coming to here, if they are declaring 100% payout, means 10 rupees. If they are issuing 10 rupees of the dividends, 10 rupees plus, as a dividend 10 rupees plus, required rate of return 15, 0.15 divided by 0.10 as a cost of capital into earning per share 10 rupees minus the dividend 10 rupees, that equal to 100 rupees. What it is impacting here, if they are going to increase the dividends, the value of the firm is going to reduce. They are not paying any dividends to the shareholders. The value of the firm will be very high comparing to the 100% payout. So when they are going to the 100% payout, the value will be 100 rupees. So that's why if they had to retain the profits in that company, the value of the firm will be increased. So this is the first situation. In the second situation, they are assuming 8% of the required rate of return. So this is the declining form. So why I have to choose this is the declining form? Here 8 rupees as the required rate of return. Cost of equity is 10 rupees. So this is the less than value. The required rate of return is less than to cost of equity. So here I am declaring this position will be the declining form. Okay. When it is in the 0 payout, 0 plus required rate of 0.08 divided by 0.10 as the cost of equity and earning per share 10 rupees minus 0 dividend. So 80 rupees. And coming to the when dividend per share 2 rupees 50 paise, the value will be 2 rupees 50 paise plus 8% divided by 10% into earning per share 10 rupees minus 2 rupees 50 paise as a dividend, that equal to 85 rupees. And coming to the 50% of the dividend payout ratio, that is 5 rupees, the value will be 5 rupees plus 8% divided by 10% as a cost of equity into earning per share 10 rupees minus dividend per share 5 rupees, that equal to 90 rupees. And coming to the 75% payout ratio, that is 7 rupees 50 paise, that equal to 7 rupees 50 paise as a dividend plus the required rate of return 8% divided by cost of equity 0.10 into earning per share 10 rupees minus 0.750 paise, that equal to 95. And coming to the 100% payout ratio, the value will be 100. What it is impacting here? If the dividend is going to be increased, then automatically the value of the firm is going to increasing. Means here the investors are expecting the dividends. If the company is going to declare the dividends to the shareholder, then automatically the value of the firm also will be increased. Means here the investors are expecting the more dividends in that company. So this is the assumption here. And coming to the R equal to KE. So why we are called it as R equal to KE? Here the value will be required rate of return 10% and the cost of equity 10%. 10% equal to 10%, then it will be called it as the normal form. It should not be impacting on the value of the firm. Means the dividend payout ratio should not be impacting on that value of the firm. And coming to the implementation, here they are not paying any dividends. 0 plus 10% required rate of return divided by cost of equity 10% into earning per share 10 rupees minus 0 payout, that equal to 100 rupees. And coming to the second situation, 25% of dividend payout ratio 2 rupees 25 paise, 2 rupees 25 paise plus 10% divided by 10% and earning per share 10 rupees minus 2 rupees 50 paise as a dividend, that equal to 100 rupees. Here also, when they are declaring 5 rupees of the dividend, the value will be 100. When they are declaring 7 rupees 50 paise as a dividend, the value will be 100. Here also, 100% dividend payout ratio, the market value of the share will be 100. Means if they are declaring or not declaring or whatever it may be, it should not be impacting on that. So this is the method of Walters model. Here some critics will be there. So what are the critics? The first assumption is there is no external source of finance. It should not be possible because the internal source of finance should not be sufficient. So that is one of the critic. And risk and the cost of capital always constant. It should not be applicable. It should not be impacting on that. Why? Because if the investment opportunity is going to increase, uncertainty also will be increased. So this is the risk is going to increase. This is the one type of the argument in that. The cost of capital also constant according to this assumption. The cost of capital should not be constant. If you are going to increase the capital, then automatically cost of capital also will be increased. This is also one of the critics. So based on the critics, another model will come into the situations. So the model is, another model is Gordon's model. Let's come to the Gordon's model.